ZBCN is sitting on one of the most important levels in its entire structure. This is either the base that launches it back into, you know, range above resistance, maybe into a new bull market, and all you ZBCNs want that, the lovers, the maxis, let's call, all right? Or this is the final pause before another leg down, which I know will disappoint a lot of you. Now, I am not bullish nor bearish in this video, but I am watching one thing, and Bitcoin will likely decide it. Now, I want to remind all of you, I'm a top 10 trader in the US Investing Championship of 2025. I know what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that you follow professionals and not just hopium. Let's dive into the chart because that is where the secret lies for ZBCN. As you can see, if you are astute and you are someone that knows and understand price action, you can see what I'm talking about. I'm talking specifically about this area over here. All right. Now I know we have a lot of chart since back in May 24th, but right now we need to understand what is happening. Okay, because the last time that I made a video was right here on this day. It was February 2nd, and I told everyone in February 2nd that I think this is the last support and we're going to break down. And lo and behold, a day after, we actually went into a beautiful move down, 30%, but we bounced, which is interesting how ZBCN didn't go full blown dump, but dumped nicely, but then jumped back into mid-grounds range. Okay, so let me make this understandable. Okay, we had a long-term support and resistance, very important area, this. Okay, very important area over here, very important. Okay, and we broke down below it, and I said because we had this and this, I said, you know what, maybe we have another chance at support here, though if we break down below it, I believe we're going to go into a full-blown bear market, which we started here, but then we kind of bounced back into it. Now, where we are right now, which is this rectangle over here, is kind of no man's land. Let me remove everything else and let's zoom in to specifically what's happening here in this rectangle, okay? Because this is the platform that is about to determine everything that will happen with ZBCN in the following couple of weeks, okay? Because you have a very horizontal type resistance at the 0.0022755, and you have a horizontal type support at the 0.0018767, okay? If we break below this, I think we're going to go lower, even lower than here. Now, the opposite can happen and we can actually break above this. Now, if we break above this, a full-blown debate about whether this is going to be a renewed bull market for ZBCN or just kind of a bear market rally and then fizzle back down. The reality is that it's very hard to read the future because we don't really know what the future entails, okay? But there is one thing that will probably determine how ZBCN will follow, whether the down scenario or the up scenario. And again, depends on which type of scenario it will choose. You have multiple scenarios that it can pan out in that direction. But right now we're in still the debate of what will happen, up or down. And I believe Bitcoin is going to be the one that will decide. Now, if Bitcoin breaks down, then ZBCN is probably going to break down. If Bitcoin continues a bit up, though we are in a bear market for Bitcoin, I think it's going to be short-lived, maybe a bear market rally, and then a breakdown. ZBCN can follow suit. Okay, remember, ZBCN is an altcoin. Altcoin is not like Bitcoin. 99.9% of altcoins, they have a big problem with gravity. And even if they do have pumps like ZBCN had, right, not too long ago, back in May 2025, right over here, had a beautiful pump. Eventually, they all go back down into irrelevance. Why? Because this is how altcoins operate. Now, if I am you and you are a long-term believer in ZBCN, I would really, all right, really consider selling in two cases. One, if we break below the lower level. Why? Because the probability is that we're going to keep going down from here on if that happens. Now, if the second, all right, scenario happens and we do break up back into range, I would consider when selling back in that range. I wouldn't be banking on the future of ZBCN right now because we're in a bear market. It's really, really hard. And this does not look like a stage one continuation from here, which is something that I discuss and talk and teach about in my own membership. Okay. But that's if you are a holder. If you're a trader, you can both take a short if it breaks down and take a long if it breaks up. Either way, be a very short-term trader, 2 to 5, 7, 10 days maximum hold. Take the profits to whatever direction you're betting, and that is it. That is how you consistently, in my opinion, beat the market over time. You build the scenarios and you work with these scenarios to make sure you have the most probable outcome repeatable over and over and over again. All right, everyone, thank you very much for this video. Hopefully you understand my stance on ZBC, and this is a short-term stance to mid-term maximum. I don't deal with the long term. I don't believe in long-term and thinking too much because a lot of things can change, especially now with all the macro things, war, US and Iran, oil spiking, commodities acting like a shit coin, it's interesting, but it is dangerous to all of us investors and traders. So we need to think short term in these moments. This is my advice for you. Hopefully you get it. Until next time, no edge, no trade.